So a good friend of mine named Joe he's from England, and his girlfriend's from France, and this past year they actually started a ministry. And the end goal of this ministry is to evangelize all of Europe. Pretty big goal. But he's been doing retreats all across Europe, in Germany, in France, in England, all over the place, reaching out to all these people. And he's been dating his girlfriend for a while now, and he knew he wanted to propose. Well, being a missionary, starting this ministry on his own, they had donations for the ministry, but it was hard for him to get some money together to be able to buy a ring. And God just kept asking him to trust him. And I've talked to him about this for months, about how God was just saying, just trust me, it'll happen. And what's so amazing, this one couple, it was an old married couple, but they met when they were doing a retreat. They stayed with them. About a month after they stayed there, this old lady called him and told him, so basically I have this ring, and it was my engagement ring, and I want to give it to you. And first of all, he was shocked because he'd been praying about this, and God had told him, like, it's going to happen. You're going to get a ring. And when he came to meet with her, they sat down and she told him the story about this ring. That when they were first married, they were very poor. And he couldn't afford a ring for her. And 10 years into their marriage, this wealthy Catholic businessman actually paid for them to go on this retreat. And while they were there, he told them, I want to buy you a ring because I know you don't have one. But there's a promise I want you to make me, that you will pass this ring on. Whether it's to one of your kids, to someone else, I want you to pass this ring on. And the whole time you have this ring, to pray for the vocation of marriage. That marriage isn't just a piece of paper, that it's a sacrament, that it's something we can live out, and I want you to help someone else live out this sacrament by passing this ring on. And so this is like 47 years later. My friend Joe is sitting on the couch with this woman, and shortly after she met him, she told her husband, I really think this is the person we need to give this to. And he's like, okay, sounds good. And so he went over their house, and while he's sitting there, she told him, like, my kids, they didn't need it. But in talking to you, in praying about it, I realized I wanted to give you this ring. And when he received the ring, what was so amazing, he had been praying about, he specifically, in his mind, he pictured a gold ring with diamonds, but then a blue gem. And the ring he got literally had a blue gem in the middle of it, surrounded by 12 diamonds, and it was gold. Such an oddly specific ring, and it was the exact one she gave him. And sure enough, a few weeks later, he talked to his girlfriend's father, and he proposed to her. And how amazing is it that he'd been wanting to get a ring for 6-9 months, whatever. But God just kept telling him to wait, to trust in him, that he had a plan. And talking to my friend Joe, he called me up. He only had like 5 minutes to tell me this story. And he was telling it to me, and he's like, Chandler, how amazing is it that God had this in the work for 47 years before I received the ring? That years before I was even born, God had a plan for me in this. That this prayer that I asked for this ring, he'd been working on for so long. And it's just a good reminder that God knows our desires. He knows what we need, and he's always going to provide. So I want to encourage you today. Maybe you're struggling with taking a leap of faith. Maybe there's something God is asking you to do, or God is asking you to wait on doing. Whatever it is, trust in him. Jeremiah 29:11, for I know the plans I have for you, declares the Lord. Plans to give you a hope and a future. I had that on the door as I walked outside the house for years. And I put my hand on it, say the prayer right before I walked out the door. And I think this is a good reminder for me too, that I need to trust in him. That I need to live my life on total reliance on him. That's all I got, but it's a pretty incredible story. So pray for the vocation of marriage. Pray for your future spouse. And pray for me to trust in the Lord more, and I'll pray for you. Thank you, guys.